Hello, goofy geekers. What's up, guys?
How was your week?
My week? Good. Glad I got through it.
I love how we're always like, "Oh, how's your week?" And we're both like, "Fuck this week."
Yeah, I know. It's like, I lived.
I unfortunately woke up today.
A little drama during the week. We got through it, and then, but I'm here. I'm good to go, and I'm not going anywhere. And hopefully, I'll be doing this for a long time.
I was gonna make a joke, but
Go ahead, make a joke.
No, because they won't know. It's gonna be like the horse.
That is funny, but they don't know that.
Right. That's for you and me.
Can I just lesbo joke? So this is my favorite thing to do. I am so excited we're doing this, and you came up with this. This is not even a me thing. This topic's not even me. Thanks, boss.
Thanks, Shannon.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I love, I don't want to say stupid facts, because some are stupid, but I like the ones that make things go together.
Mm-hmm.
And
the puzzle pieces.
Like the pieces, like, to make you go, wait, what now? Like that type of thing. Like, I like the fact that when I listen to something, because I'm a big fan of, I listen to lectures 24/7. My YouTube is lectures.
Mm-hmm.
On like history and facts and stuff like that. I like when someone can compare all the facts together and they start putting the puzzle together, and all of a sudden you look back and you go, oh, wait a minute. This is what we used to do? And what year is this? That's the part that really makes your brain.
Because it's either like so far away or it's so close and you're like,
no.
How was we only doing this for so long?
Like, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's like 1900s. Like,
yeah.
you know, 19.
I feel like it's when we peaked.
And then it's like I just sit there and go, okay, 19.
Right.
What happened with 18, 17, all the way down, you know, to the ones, and you just go, and then you kind of put one and one together, and some of it's gross, some of it's funny, some of it's silly. So this is stupid facts, not stupid facts. These are did you know facts. Yes, and I'm one of those guys at parties that kind of sit down and you go, I don't think I need to know that.
He's like, I wish I didn't know that.
All right.
Well, we have to start with what came up with the idea.
Okay, yes. All right, okay, all right. Yeah, let's go with this, because this is a good story. This is a legit
I don't even know
story.
how we got onto it.
We were talking,
Oh, I do know.
we were talking about toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I said to you, well, at least we don't have, because we were talking about the shortage and all this stuff, like from the lockout. And I said, well, at least we didn't have to worry about splinters. Your eyes got so big and started laughing, and I said, what? And you went, where did that come from? And I said, didn't you know? And this is, again, in the 1930s.
Yeah.
And I didn't know the date at the time, but I said 1930s.
And then this like made me have to look it up.
Right, said that toilet paper, there was a big marketing saying, buy our brand, it has fewer splinters than other brand. I forgot what the other brand was. And you looked at me like I had a trillion heads.
Right.
You were like, actually, I think your exact words, no fucking way. You hit Google so fast, and you were like, 1935, 1935, yeah. And you're like, so there was toilet paper with splinters, and I was like, that's what I said to you, any time before that, and you were just like, huh? And then you started reading more, and your brain...
Maybe that's why so many people died, because they had so many cuts down there. Too many infections.
Well, just think of the poor guy who had to dry out the corn. Because that's how they used to do it. Actually, exactly what, if you want to really go back, you shook with your right hand because you wiped with your left hand.
Okay, did you want to try this?
Left hand. It's reversed in that.
Actually, it's not.
No, it's reversed in that one. No, it's your left hand that you wiped with, and then you shook with your right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And the object was, that's why if you ever smacked another man at that time, smacked someone with your left hand, it was degrading because that hand is to be known as
Your wiping hand.
Your wiping hand. Now everyone I know is thinking, what did you have in your hand to wipe? Problem was,
Nothing.
it was your hand. And there were no...
I hope everyone's eating dinner at this time.
The part that gets me is like, okay, what's the big deal about that? Right? That's not a big deal. Till you realize there was no inside plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you have that moment of going, what? Now, they were rich people who had cloths and things like that. But most of the poor, or from a certain class, would have to. Then we went to the corn cobs. Well, I don't know the whole history, but then we went to corn cobs. They would dry that out.
That sounds very...
It's not even wet.
This is my question. Do they stick it in, or do they wipe?
Oh, no, you wipe. You scraped. Because the corn, when you pull them out and they make those little divots, the object was...
Is that where quilted paper came from?
It could have been. I wouldn't even doubt that. That's why it looks like corn rolls. A little bathroom unit. Corn rolls. No, but that's what they dry it out. How painful would that be?
Why wouldn't they just use it right then and there? Why did they have to dry it out?
Because all the corn would come back. That's funny. That's a joke. Sorry. Think how much corn these people were eating. Because if you needed two
ears
of corn on your butt, it's 2-ply.
But you have to think, how many times do you use the bathroom a day?
Oh my God, I go a lot. So
you have belly problems?
I have ulcers.
Right.
I do. Like, me and the bathroom are secret lovers.
Back then, they didn't know what
there were no
allergies were.
There were no bathrooms. Right. So
what I'm saying is, like, you're allergic to dairy.
There was no I mean, what I'm saying there was, but there were no titles for it.
Right.
It was like you eat something and you're
shitting your brains out for days.
Your sister would be dead eating strawberries. Poor Sammy.
You make her shit though.
And then they started making a type of paper. That's why it had splinters, because it was a paper. Yeah.
Imagine the paper cut.
That's like using stripe. Remember the line paper you have in school? That's like wiping your butt with that. And then think of the people who couldn't clean very good. Because think of what you're limited. All right, so okay.
Think about bedtime. Bedtime activities.
Ready for this? Most people didn't take a bath daily.
Right.
They took a bath monthly.
Yeah.
To weekly. So let's go.
Well,
to
I
my
guess
next
it was just normal back then. So I mean, we can't really.
Let's go to my next topic.
Okay.
Because that actually was a nice
little segue.
A little segue to this deodorant. 1888, and it was a cream, and you had to put your 2 fingers in it and wipe it under your armpits.
Can we just pause right there for a second? Remember last week how you asked me how I put deodorant on?
Yes.
I've been trying to do it the way that.
See, some people go like that, and some people go like that.
Yeah, I'm a painter.
Yeah, I go the up and down.
Yeah.
I don't go the sideways.
I tried doing it the other way. I can't. My arm just won't do it.
People who go sideways, and people go, why do I know this? Because I've been...
Yeah.
Most people don't lift their arm as much. So it's kind of like they're squishing their arm together and using
I don't know. Like, I need my hand in there.
I need a full paint job.
How do you guys put deodorant on? Let me know. Anyways.
What's deodorant? Okay,
Native.
And the very first product was called Mum. Mum.
Like the plant?
Yes. Mum. Or like your mum.
Mum?
Like your mum.
Mum.
Okay. In 1903, antiperspirant was invented. Ready for this? It's to stop the sweat, right? Mm-hmm. But it didn't have a smell to it. So you had to put deodorant on for smell. And
which way would you put it on? Would you put the
No, it
first?
was both. Yeah, I know, but they both were.
Did you have to put it on a certain order?
And it was a roll-on at the time. Excuse me. No, it was a cream. I'm sorry, it was a cream. Okay, ready? It was a cream. Okay, ready for this? This is when it gets really crazy. before this time, men didn't use anything because it was considered masculine to smell like BO.
This is why I'm gay, ladies.
No, I want to tell you something. I had a friend who was a supernaturalist. So he didn't wear anything. And there were nights that we'd go to the bar, and it was like raw onions next to me. And listen, that's what he believed in. I tried not to judge him because of that, but there was a few times I was like, it was rough, right? And then, it was his privilege. I didn't have to go out with him. I didn't want to, hang out at the bar. But there were moments, it was like some hot girl coming. It was like magic on the other bar. I was like, I don't know who that guy is. Women wore perfume in their armpits. So they would spray the different perfumes, and it was unbecoming of a woman to smell at all. So basically,
sounds about right.
They bathed.
We get the shit end of the stick here.
Okay, every comment I have is some way sexist, and I don't agree. I'm just trying to tell you the history of it.
That's just how history went.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with it. I'm not saying the way it is. I'm just saying I love this stuff. Ready for this? Okay, so I just told you that the cream makes perfect sense. Are you ready for what I have to tell you? The first roll-on, as we know it, 1950. And spray can.
What year were your parents born?
In the 50s.
In the 50s?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it's 50. My dad's born in 52 or something like that. I don't know.
Well, that makes sense if he's 70 now.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
The first spray can for the
Perspirant
is 1960.
Is this the word that you were having trouble with?
Yes,
okay.
1960 is in the 60s. It says 50 and 60s. I could have dug more into it, but I figured that's good enough. We don't have to go super crazy. But that was the first spray can. So
what do you use?
I use deodorant, the roll-on.
Just stop. I use deodorant.
Right. I used cream. A little dab will do you. To the paint. I do this up, Daniel-san, up. Just trust me, when I get in a fight, deodorant on, deodorant off, deodorant on. I'm on top of it.
I have to use the natural kind because I have sensitive skin.
Oh, do you? I know people that do that breakout. Oh God, I gotta go to my next topic. Since we're
I want to do mine because we're doing hygiene.
Okay, no, do it. I thought you said you only didn't have.
I had a few, but
okay, that's good.
This one's going with the hygiene. So, toothpaste.
Perfect.
So, the ancient Egyptians actually created it, but it was not like how we know it now at all. It kind of makes me want to throw up.
Do you know what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a paste from oxen hooves, eggshells, pumice, and water. And I'm really trying not to throw up. And this was back in 3000 BC.
Right.
And the pumice mixture, or a pumice mixture, is still used to this day. It's just not that
right.
particular. But it wasn't.
Oxes are saved.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
And it wasn't until the late 1700s that the toothpaste.
I love. If you think, you have to think. From there, what did they use? Because what they used as Egyptians didn't go
right
to Europe or England. So what were they using? Actually, I know what they were using.
Actually,
You know what Romans used?
I don't know if it was Romans, but I know somebody else used fish.
No. Romans used piss. They would pee.
They were just like.
They would pee, and then you would brush your teeth. Because they thought when they were kind of right, then the ammonia but it actually ruined their teeth.
Yeah.
And actually, they thought the blacker your teeth means you were rich and you could eat sweets. So the blacker your teeth was, the more respect you had. Yeah, look at the little twitches in your eye. So they would, that's why, there's a saying from that, though. There's a saying for that. And I can't think of it. It's like, Yeah, something like, when you talk out of your mouth type of thing. And I can't think of it. And that we can't even look up because I don't have a thing. But it's actually as an expression where it comes from, the brushing your teeth.
That's okay. Take your time. We have
I
the whole podcast.
I have something to talk about.
It's
I know. I thought I was gonna think of it, but it's an expression that we still use to this day, and that's why it comes from that. Okay. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect you to do toothpaste. I told you I have all this useless.
Well, that's good.
Useless knowledge.
So in 1824. Everyone just think about that.
The 49ers there. Almost. Before the Civil War.
There was a dentist named Peabody. We don't know his first name. And he was the first person to put actual soap in it. So that you might actually clean
up.
it.
Yeah.
In the 1850s, John Harris added chalk to it.
I didn't know what that does.
And it wasn't until 20 years later that Colgate mass-produced the first toothpaste in a jar.
Is this when they start using seashells and stuff from the water? Because that's actually what's in there now. It's it's a
that's later.
Is that later?
I think so.
I didn't think I knew that.
Yes. No. Well, I don't know what you know. You probably know everything.
I don't know everything.
So then
ask Shannon. I don't know anything.
So everyone would dip their little brushes in one jar. So if you ever have a family and the black teeth happen, nasty.
Well, we're actually going to talk about germs and stuff later on my thing, but it's the same type of thing. They didn't know that stuff. They didn't know.
So in 1890,
isn't that how you girls did it? Just dip all your toothbrushes in one cream thing and just.
In 1892, Dr. Washington's...
Sammy took too much!
Dr. Washington Sheffield thought it was unsanitary to share jars now.
Yes.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
And he invented...
Wait, what year is this?
1892.
Oh, you guys are really behind. They figured out germs in 1870. So they would... no. Just remember that date.
I won't.
No. But that's... Okay, just because it's working in just right. Surgeons in 1870 were starting to wash their hands doing surgery. Before that...
That's why everyone fucking died.
Yes, that's why, right? And do you know it was considered a boost to your ego if your smock, if you will, was covered. The more blood on it meant you were more successful. And when you get that infection and it turns all that bubbly white, they thought that was your body trying to fight off the infection, not that it was the infection. Go on. And what year is this? They figured out cutting off limbs were really bad without washing in 1870, but in what?
1892. Now we're talking well, they were so worried about infections first. They're like, you know what? I guess teeth are fine. We should probably move on to a different part of the body.
Fuck.
So he actually invented the first collapsible tooth. Paste. Tube is what the word.
It's a tube, yeah. But it still wasn't because they used to have that key in it years ago.
Yeah, he got his ideas from paint and how artists with the thing. So that's where he came up with that. And after World War II, they replaced soap with emulsifying agents, which is the shells. The shells / fossils. Fluoride was added. First striped toothpaste was invented, and whitening agents were introduced. The 1980s. 1980, yeah.
Because I remember when it came out with the stripe. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Don't ask me why. It's because toothpaste should be one color, one flavor, and everything. I don't remember. Not until I got older do I remember them having little kid toothpaste. Because when I was a kid, I felt like you just
Yeah.
There were
They
no
probably
kid
didn't.
things. They had
Yeah.
no kid things. When I was a kid.
Well, because
maybe they
everyone's
did.
on such a budget. Like, why would have 40
we
different tubes?
We just didn't have that stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't think they thought there was a market for that type of thing that I can remember.
And now there's everything for kids.
I know. Now there's like 2 walkways practically at a store for kids, where it's like kids fluoride, kids this, kids that. Yeah.
But it's like, it also makes you think too, is like, if they're making this for babies, what are we putting on our skin?
I know.
What are we doing different with our skin?
Ready
or like,
for
why
this?
is it not good for your baby, but it's good
This
for
is the
me?
part you didn't even put down, and this is one I do know. Do you know the original toothbrush used to be actually from boar's hair?
Yes.
And they actually were so harsh that would actually rip your gums. So brushing your teeth was still not
Horrible.
horrible, because half the time they wouldn't want to use, like, you basically were using like one of those metal,
Like a Brillo pad?
like no, the things you do for the grill. You know, teeth are doing great today.
My mouth hurts so bad
I know.
thinking about it.
No, but that's how they said. Well, when I was listening to it, said that that's what a toothbrush basically felt like. I know. And you're just talking about toothpaste. So it's
Did you just brush? No, I got hit in the mouth.
that's why only one tooth. They brushed them all out.
Go ahead.
Was that it for you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine is female hygiene products. Oh, can I just
feminine products?
Yes. Can I just this was very disturbing. Okay, so I'm gonna go back now. This is something that people got offended by, I remember in the day, and then finding out why they said it, it just seems logical. So women get offended, and I don't blame them, when they say, "Oh, you on the rag," and it's said that, but because from day A to 1854, if you will, that's what you used. You used different rags that you would wash. So that's why they say you're on a...
Very earth friendly.
Right, they were.
Now
They
we're just like killing the
streams.
planet.
So that's... So I don't know if everyone... I didn't have to even look this up because I actually know this. But during 1854 to 1915, these are the things that were invented for the period. And is a special type of cup, which was aluminum or hard rubber. And yes, make that face, because I don't know, I didn't look at the picture and I don't even know how a cup would work.
Well, they make cups now, but they're made out of silicone, and
Right.
it's not like
It's
they're flexible.
Right,
And
this is hard rubber.
Yeah, you
and
said aluminum.
Yeah.
That made me hurt.
Yes. I don't know if you're putting it in the inside.
How's
the
everyone's
outside.
coochies feeling? Because mine's not feeling too hot.
Mine's throbbing.
So you're actually bleeding more because you're shoving up metal up your.
I guess that's what you're doing. I'm not sure, because it just showed the patent picture. It didn't show like the actual, like, you know, the design.
Pad in picture.
Didn't show the actual demonstration.
No, you didn't watch a video.
No video. Can't get this cup in. Can I get? Who ordered the big gulp?
I think I could go for a Slurpee. Are you on your period?
Okay. Rubber underwear, and they actually sold it's called Lester's towel.
Okay, let's go back to the rubber thing. I feel like as a kid, like I didn't know, like, so if I watch like an old thing, I always wonder what do they use for, like, when I became like that age or whatever.
Right.
Like, what do they do? And I was like thinking of like different things that they could have done, and I actually thought about like the rubber underwear, or like some type of like.
Someone did invent that. My question is
like,
it
no,
just rubber
work.
underwear? Is it just so it's like just building up in there? Is there the rag also in there?
Right, and like how would that work? Does it just spill out the sides at that
No,
rate?
I would
like,
imagine it'd be like a.
Did you put like the fabric in there first?
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know.
Or
So
would
you
it
know
just
what
be
the
like a
problem
cover,
is?
like a diaper cover?
You know what the problem is?
You know, like
You're going to find
you know, like the reusable diapers, how they have like the plastic thing.
I think
is
our
it like
problem
that?
is that we're too much in the future trying to think of something.
Think of something back.
That is probably not as bad. It's probably just rubber underwear.
Right.
And the one thing I wanted
Oh my god, they didn't shave back then.
No.
Imagine that.
Oh.
So not only are you in a period, now you got rubber ripping out your hairs.
Actually, I didn't look that up, but I do know women's razors weren't even invented at all until almost I think the 30s or 20s, and then they realized they could market razors because they always did it for men towards women,
yep.
And then women were basically like, oh, you're gross if you have armpit or leg hair, and then they got that. But again, we're going back to 1930s. I don't know the exact date. I might be wrong if someone's Googling and go, like, it's 20 something. Right. Okay.
And that's the thing, like now, like women are fighting for not having to shave and everything. I'm like, go for it. I personally don't like hair in my body, but like if you want to have hair in your body, go for it. Like it doesn't bother me at all.
It doesn't. Normally doesn't truly bother me, because I don't feel like I really like going to stare. But I will say a woman who is shaved is I'm more attracted to, because that's the way I was brought up. So it's kind of like seeing something weird when you're not used to, because that's the way my brain has been programmed. I'm not trying to say it's the right way or the wrong way, just the way it's been programmed. Now, the pad was actually invented during World War I when they the gauze that they used for injuries, or the casualties, people in shot. A nurse saw this, put two and two together, and when she came back from the war, that's what landed up getting the invention of a pad, was these gauze, which is not the exact same, but it's in the
pretty
same
much
family.
There. Yeah.
It's the same family. Well, now they have gel packs and things to even keep it even more.
Yeah.
Basically you can. I mean, you ladies can swim. You guys can do 1,000 times more things than this stuff used to be able to. I remember we were laughing because when my little one was getting of age and had it, and she wanted to go to a water park, we're like, no, you can't, don't, because she was going to sneak. And I'm like, can you imagine that water hitting that thing? I'm like, no, kid, that's gross. You can't do that. She was younger. Teenager.
Yeah.
No. That was. It
doesn't really work that well.
Yeah.
Because now that it fills with water, and now it just doesn't hold anything.
Well, yeah, and then it's gross being at a park. But we tell her, like, but she didn't understand that because being a little kid.
Yeah.
Not a little kid, but just not catching on.
Right.
1+1, living the life. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much I have for that one. The cup really bothered me.
The cup makes me want to die.
Because the problem was, I told you,
the cup probably feels how I feel on my period.
When I clicked onto the picture when it showed, like, I was like,
I gotta look it up later.
That didn't help.
Everyone go look up the original Diva cup.
No, you don't. You know Ashley right now is going, menstrual cup.
Well, since we're talking about women.
I'll keep going.
I'm gonna do... Are you done with yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
I'm gonna do the home pregnancy test.
Okay, that's a good one.
So... Before they had those, you had to go...
Oh crap, I was... Okay. I was more.
Go ahead.
The first proper pad was in 1888.
88?
1988. Now, but that was the proper pad, not the gauze pad that we know now. But it was a thing that was like a rag type of pad. Does that make sense? And okay, so this is actually pretty interesting. In medieval time, they let you go on the rag like they did because at that time they thought blood contained the body's toxins, and hence this is why they were doing bloodletting. Do you know what bloodletting is? So what happens is medics used to cut people when you were sick to bleed, so you could bleed out the bad blood, and then your body would make the good blood, which basically killed you faster because
now you're losing blood.
You're losing blood, and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
But that's what they thought when women did it. They thought men had it, but we didn't have a way to get it out. So that's why we had bloodletting. I apologize for jumping on that. But so 1888 was the proper first commercial pad, but it basically, like it said, it was basically a fancy rag.
When was tampon?
Oh, I didn't go.
Bro,
I didn't go that far.
If you're doing pad, you gotta do tampon.
I didn't go that far.
Somebody look up tampon.
I was doing
the
history.
One of Us. We'll look it up.
The One of Us? I know, but us? It's just one. I didn't go that far because I'm a history person, so I just figure
1931.
1931. So we're already way past all everything I've talked about. All right, so you have the pregnancy test.
Yes.
Let's go for this one. Sorry that I
That's okay.
bumped it.
So it was invented, like the home pregnancy test, the first one was invented in 1970.
Wow.
70.
Wow.
So before then, you'd have
a lot of rabbits died.
Yes, a lot of rabbits died.
No, they used to.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. You're looking at me like. I guess you have that written. Go ahead. My stupid logic.
So before then, you have to go to the doctor, and they'd have to tell you. But even before then, if you didn't bleed, then you're pregnant, pretty much.
Egyptian had a thing too. If you peed on a certain type of plant and it died,
it
said you were pregnant. It would actually tell if it was a boy and girl too. Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Because the way it died or the color it would actually be able to. It was almost not 100%, but almost 90% right if it was a boy or girl. I don't know if that's true and like 100% true. Because I wasn't around, but that's what I read in there.
You've never done it?
No, I peed a lot into bushes.
Killed every one of them.
And Ashley read 1931.
Late to the party. I had to look it up myself.
Thanks, Ashley. We appreciate it.
How much of a delay
I appreciate it.
Anyways.
You're a bitch.
I know.
For you, Ash.
So anyways, you would have to go to the doctor, and it would take up to 2 weeks. It's a long time.
Yeah, you're pregnant then.
Yeah. If you still haven't gotten it, bestie.
Yeah. 2 weeks later, I got it. Well,
it's been
good.
like 4 months. I'm starting to get a little bloated here.
What did the test say? Go ahead.
You clicked off screen as I hit it. Oh,
see?
Sorry. Anyways, so a graphic designer who worked at a pharmaceutical company, she noticed like what they were using for the tests and stuff. So they saw it was.
Wait a minute. If she's a graphical designer, does that mean she made all those charts that just go up and down? Because there was no computer back in the day.
I don't know what she did back then. You good?
I'm good.
Okay. She noticed the line of test tubes that were filled with urine and the reagents or whatever they call them. And they were over a mirrored surface that would show a red ring if it was pregnant. So she saw that and was like, fuck waiting 2 weeks. Let me make something.
You could just pee on and it would make a ring.
No, it's like, so let me make a kit for people to take home so that way they could do the test. Yeah. It's the same thing.
It's the exact same way? Oh, wow.
So it literally was like a science kit.
Yeah.
I looked up or it showed me a picture or whatever, and it was like...
Like your first chemistry set.
Yeah.
Like it
that's what it was.
Yeah.
And,
crazy.
Yeah. Like it was not a stick that we know now.
That's awesome. I didn't
Yeah, you had to conduct your own
I didn't even know that. I just thought... I knew about the rabbit. About... the doctors, and that's how the rabbit lived. The rabbit died. But I've never heard that. That's really cool. Right.
So, she issued a patent for her design in 1971. But then she assigned it to a parent company, and she did not receive a single cent for her design.
Oh, I hate when... I feel like in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, Like, people got screwed a lot with that. I mean, I know inventions years before that.
Right.
Because, but a lot of them
Once
would get paid.
Like,
They get paid to be an inventor, but someone else would get the credit.
Yeah.
This situation, they totally got screwed. I can't read it too far away.
I remember watching an episode of Golden Girls mentioning early home pregnancy tests. Oh, really? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, but
was it like this?
I don't know. They just talked about having.
Oh.
I don't remember them talking about the test tubes and stuff, but you know.
But the first kits came
with a rabbit.
Oh, the first ads came out for it in 1978.
Wow, so almost 80.
So it didn't really hit, like, it didn't make a big impact until like 8 years later.
Whoever listens, I know it's probably just Ashley. This is the part you have to realize. When you look up something that says it's invented,
you have to look up when it actually was like a global thing.
It doesn't mean that because it was invented in 1930. I'm just saying. Sometimes it takes up to 5 years. It takes up to 10 years. There's been things that, like, I'm going to tell you the next thing, and when you're going to realize between A, B, and C, your brain's going to blow up because you're going to say, that doesn't make sense. But that's the way how things invent, and then it has to be marketed.
Right.
And then it becomes as we all know it. That's crazy.
So, the pregnancy hormone, the HCG, wasn't even discovered until 1920, like in the 20s.
Oh, wow.
So that's when they were using the women's urine to inject into the animals to see if they would live or not, and that's how you knew.
There's always a rabbit.
Yeah. Well, there was actually rabbits, mice, and toads.
Really? I didn't know the toads. I know mice because mice is always. Yeah. But toads? It's crazy. I didn't know that. I just learned something tonight. I remember that. Toads. You done?
I'm done.
All right, mine. Well, we already talked about the doctor, so I'm just going to move along because we already talked about the doctor in 1870, basically with the smocks and stuff. I'm going to go to the next one. When do you think the first fax machine was invented?
I don't know. Because I grew up with them, so it's not it's just like they've always been thinking. Like, I don't know how far back that was. They don't even have
fax. I don't even use those anymore. But what do you think the first fax machine? Don't know. 1843. Okay,
that's actually longer than I thought.
Right, that's way back, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Ready for this? Let me blow your mind. Guess when the telephone was invented?
I did know this one, but I don't know the date.
1876. So we had a fax machine before we had a phone.
Yeah.
So we could actually send pictures through the, I don't call them telephone lines. There were telegraph lines at the time, which is basically telephone line. You know, eventually. Yeah. Before we had phones. So when you think of a fax machine, you always think of a phone and then a thing on top of it.
Right, because it would dial.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did they do it before that?
Is that why they invented the phone?
No, that's not why.
Well, is that why? But I mean, it's like, is that how they like? That's not what I meant. That's not what that came out.
We had the fax machine. Did they come? What should we have next? Someone should invent the phone.
That's not what I meant.
We can send pictures. Well,
that's in my voice.
Can you hear me now?
I'm not going to try and rephrase my question because it's going to sound dumb.
No. What happens is it was the line that it got put through. So it was a telegraph that could do it. But then once they did the telephone line, they could easily moved it over. But it just happened that they could send the first fax. That's crazy, though. I thought that was mind-blowing. I don't have any more. I think that just alone just kind of makes you just stop. Because you're just thinking...
I thought it would be like in the 90s.
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
Or the 90s.
Here's the thing that really, really killed me. So 1876 is when the first phone's invented. That doesn't mean when it goes public. That's when it's invented.
Right.
So just say, let's just round it. Just give it 10 more years. So you're almost at 1900, okay? How are you getting fax? Who has a fax machine in their house? Like, they was invented, but basically it wasn't used until... Think about it, because fax machines got hot in the 80s and 90s. Because I don't ever remember seeing something in the 70s or the 60s for a fax machine, but it was invented already.
Right.
Why? What? It's really weird. Really weird. Some of these things don't go, like you said, why would
that math ain't mathin'.
I know. Like, who just always like, oh, hey, we forgot about the fax machine. Let's put a phone on.
Great idea.
We can send
I
butt
came up
shots.
with this new thing. I came up with this new idea. We'll call it a fax machine.
No, we already have one.
I know.
No, but this one has a phone on it. Oh, right. It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's I don't know why, but that really, like, I literally sat there, and so when I wrote this down, first fax machine. I was like, 1843. I kept saying it. I'm like, well, that makes sense. Then I looked up when the phone was invented. I was like, well, that's why it doesn't make sense, because it's like almost 30 years before the phone's invented.
Oh my God.
But there was not even phone lines, so it was just telegraph lines. I don't understand why pictures were so important. To, like, who really had that? Like, that's one of those things I think that someone invented, item. And someone went, yeah, great toy. Yeah. And then by the time, and to our future, and I remember that was a
Actually, look this up.
No.
When did fax machines, like, become very common?
I would say the 80s. I feel like that was a big thing, because I knew a lot of people, like, just fax, like, a homework, or fax this, or fax that.
I think if you, like, want to fax something now, you have to, like, go to the store.
Yeah,
and you fax it to your doctor. That's pretty much all. Everyone who's getting anything is some doctor.
No, you don't have to. You just take a picture of your phone. Needs to send it, right? You don't have to even do that anymore.
Something. I had to fax something too. My doctor one time.
Oh my gosh. What year was this?
1943. Or 1843.
Nah, we're gonna listen to you because I have a lot of just little, like, one poppers. So
we're going to talk about standardized times.
I love this one.
Which, this happened a lot later than I thought.
Yeah. It was after World War II, wasn't it? So
it didn't become a law until
1940. Wait a minute. 46 was the end of the war, so something like that, right? So it would just be around 50.
It didn't become a law until 1880.
1880? Oh wow. So
but it wasn't. It was more common. It didn't, like.
Oh, let me catch on.
Yeah, let me catch on.
So I'm on, but I'm off. Yeah, I gotcha. All right. Yeah.
So we. 80s and 90s.
The 90s. Yeah, thank you. She doubted me, Ashley. Bitch. Ashley says she didn't.
So we used to measure time by looking at the position of the sun. In the sky in your particular town, village, wherever you lived. And depending on where you were, the time would be different. Time zones were still always a thing, but It was whatever. So the invention of trains.
I'm laughing because of the time zone, because I'm picturing someone in California waking up going, no sun out by 6 o'clock in the a.m. Someone waking up in New England going, sun's out.
We didn't have time.
We send the fax.
We have social media, but we don't.
He calls up. Go ahead. He faxes at 6 o'clock. Get up, California. Go ahead. Sorry. Silly.
So the invention of trains actually changed how we, like, do it and everything, because if. Change the way we look at time. Yes. So, like, people need to know how to get where their what time they get to their destination, so that way they can arrange for whatever.
Right.
So local times were synchronized into railway time, which was in the 40s. Oh no, 1840. 1840. And that time was based off of London time, which was set by the clock that the Royal Observatory.
Yes.
Stop talking. You're throwing me off here.
I'm trying to be. Go ahead.
So, but it was known as Greenwich Mean Time. and a lot of the stations had 2 clocks, or they would have another hand, so that way they would have the local time and also the London time, which I thought was pretty cool.
I know. I'm just for you now. Most England time, just East Coast, is roughly 5 to 6 hours ahead of us. So just think of how far west you'd go, how much drastic each time would be, and it depends what part.
What's the furthest time zone, like time difference? Do you know? Like the amount of time.
A full day. Isn't it like a full day? Isn't Australia like a full, like it's, you cross the date line? I think it's, I don't know if it's exactly 24 hours. No, I know it's more than 24 hours. But I don't know. Yeah, because don't you know when you cross the international date line, you lose or gain, depends which way you're going, the full day. So when I went to England, I lost it. Like I lost a day, or I gained a day. I don't remember now. I didn't look this up. Yeah. But
this is supposed to be in your notes.
I'm supposed to know this. No, but you lose because you have 5 hours. I lost the time. I lost the day. So when I got there was this day instead of this time. And that's why when I'm almost positive, like when Australia does it at night, they're doing it the night for like New Year's, where we're trying to do it like later. Like they're a day ahead or a day behind us.
They're ahead of us.
Yeah,
but I don't think they're a full day.
They are 24-hour time. There are 24.
Between what though? Like what's the time zone?
The 24, like 24 times.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
What's that?
Do you understand what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah, what's the biggest amount of time difference? For example, like if I was in Japan and I was in the furthest is England, let's just say. I'm just I don't know. I'm just trying to do crazy map distance. Is it 24 hours exactly? Is it 25 hours exactly? But I'm almost positive there's a line where you
well, I know the international date line.
Yeah,
I get that.
You lose a day, so that would be 24 hours if you lose a day. 24 hours. Ashley said it. See, thank you. I'm right again. This picture ain't listening to me. I told you I know this stupid stuff. Thanks, Ashley. I love you.
Standardized time became a law in 1880, and by 1929, most countries were using the GMT time.
What year?
1929.
1912. So it's earlier than I thought. I thought it was in the 40s, but still. Well, I'm almost 30, so. No, did they change in the 1940s the?
This is all I have for you.
Wow! I didn't even see how that. She's like it's all I got for you. Boom! Like I sat down. I think it's the daylight savings times in the 40s.
Probably. Ashley?
I'm right. I'm saying it. I have spoken.
I don't know. You thought this was in the night.
I know. I was wrong. I was wrong about that. No, I think the daylight savings time.
Areas west of the date line are a day ahead of those to east.
I wonder who said that.
Ashley.
Alright, let's throw out some fun facts.
Okay.
I'll throw out like 3 because they're all pretty short. Alright. Because I'm short.
Same.
Do you know in 300 BC, turkeys were considered gods and were treated like gods?
Well, we have 2 of them in the backyard of the salon.
I think I said something else.
2 of them are creating this podcast.
I'm going to say something political. I was going to be like... I think it's...
Nope. You know I don't do politics.
I think I said ran for president. 2 of them tried to. I was like...
Just 2 of them? I think way more than 2.
Carry on. 2 are doing the podcast. But no one... I can tell you, nobody ever looked at me like a god. A whipping boy, maybe. No, God. Daylight saving time started in 18. I was wrong too.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. Ashley, you're right. Like you knew. I've been closer to these things than you have.
Oh yeah, the 40s and the 18 are so close together.
No, but I told you about the line. It's 24 hours ahead.
No.
Okay, this is obvious. But do you know when we learned as little kids,
You
Paul
spell.
Revere? Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I saw me.
Paul Revere never shouted the British are coming.
Yes, I did know that.
It's kind of obvious because the British were living with us. So if we screamed it,
Yeah.
I think we all would woke up everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I hated that fact. This is my favorite fact I learned. I'm
so glad we could go from what you hated to what you loved.
yeah, no, because I hated that because I just felt like that was obvious. But that's what they teach you. This is my favorite one in the world, right?
They teach us a lot of stuff that were wrong, but just saying.
I know. Oh my God, I'm so excited for this one. Okay, so Napoleon and his, I'm just gonna call him crew because they're kind of like his main. There's like a whole group of them. Decided they were going to hunt bunnies for like sport, which at that time that wasn't crazy. Rabbits hunting.
Giving Bugs Bunny.
Right, like like whatever, right? So they had servants release 3,000 of them in this small field so they could hunt, which I kind of feel like shooting a fish in a barrel type of thing, like really. But he was attacked by a horde of bunnies. They actually hunted him and their men. I'm not joking, like scared their horses and physically were attacking them because they actually teamed up and got smart enough to attack each one of them.
Good.
I always just picture guys shooting and they just disappear and all these bunnies. But yeah, almost. I love also it's called a horde of bunnies. That sounds pretty scary when you.
Have you seen those fuckers?
So they actually ended up hurting them. I didn't kill them, but
yeah,
they ended up injuring horses and injuring guys and stuff. That's crazy. Okay, one more. Oh, this was the scary one I had to tell you. I didn't know this. This is where it comes from. You know how they say don't drink a lot of moonshine that can make you go blind or kill you? Well, this rumor, that's true, but the odds are really against you. You have to drink a lot of it, right? But the U.S. started that rumor because they poisoned the alcohol during Prohibition, and by 1933, 10,000 people died from the poison they had put into the thing to scare people from stop drinking. Like that was their way stop people to stop drinking.
You said that you couldn't believe this.
I know
America does a lot of shit things, so
yeah, I
do
know.
It's crazy that they've done that, but
it's the fact that we have a very and there's nothing wrong with this, but a very strong religious woman who lands up leading Prohibition. I know you can look all this up. I'm trying not to go into great details, but she goes into saying like it's the devil, blah blah blah, and all the stuff, right? And it is bad for you to a certain point. Like people who take it too far, their alcoholism. I know, I get it. But there are people who can do it responsibly.
Right.
And this is one of those things that they wanted to prove to everyone that this was going to be the death of you. So they killed people to try to say, see, the statistics shows if you drink, you die. And that's the part that really was like the big lump in my throat. Like, are you kidding me? No, go ahead. I'll let you go to the next one.
I'll just do one more because we're getting.
I know I'm talking too much.
The UPC code, Universal Product Code, which I didn't know that's what that stood for.
I had no idea. I have no idea.
I worked in a grocery store and it's a barcode.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know anything about this topic.
Oh, okay. Oh, well,
so
that's
this is
good.
all you. Yes.
That's good. I can say anything and you would not know.
You can say anything you want. I'll believe you.
Ashley,
you could literally tell me it was a family picture of Ethiopians, and I probably believe you. You just got the thing. You just got it.
Okay.
Sorry.
So actually, a woman invented it,
Oh, wow.
which is very empowering.
It is.
But
women invent a lot of crap.
I know. So she patented the barcode in 1952. So before then, we didn't have, like, we just...
Yeah, we didn't have barcodes. It was flour, this much.
Right.
Yeah. They didn't have the bloop. You just would add it up in those big... Remember those ones you hit the button, then you have to pull the crank?
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a guy who...
Are you effing kidding me? I'm out. I'm leaving. This is a hack job. She's just like a guy. You're all excited to be stronger than me.
His name's Norman. I thought that said woman.
You've been so like, oh, you don't even know what was, and I believed you. I was like, oh, woman, that's cool. No,
so he was inspired by Morse code, which he learned in Boy Scouts.
Right.
And he came up with like all these different designs trying to get it to work, and nothing was working. So eventually,
Ashley just wrote it was a man.
Ashley didn't write anything. After numerous designs, the awareness of his idea has grown, and other people started trying to piggyback on it, and retail and tech industries got involved trying to create this UPC. And then the night of June 25th, 1924, a team of... Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right.
Didn't you say it was invented in 52? How is it 24? I'm confused.
74.
74, that's it.
I need to write better.
Yes. We're actually learning what you're reading.
Everyone's like, oh my god, your handwriting's so good. Y'all read this. Okay. June 25th, 1974. A team from the National Cash Register Association installed new scanners and computers at the Marsh Supermarket in Troy, Ohio. Oh my god.
Sorry, no, sorry, yeah, no.
So it wasn't. So at 8 a.m., June 26, 1974, the first item with the UPC was scanned. Do you know what it was? Take a wild guess. You can't read my handwriting either.
Cereal.
Cereal? It was juicy fruit gum.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And it's actually preserved in the Smithsonian Museum.
It probably lost its flavor a long time ago.
It doesn't even have flavor. Have you had juicy fruit?
That's actually really interesting. It's really cool.
Yeah. It was not a woman, but...
All right, how much? I'm going to bang out a bunch of mine now.
Yeah, just bangers, you know?
Yeah.
Bang them out. When in doubt, bang it out.
Captain Morgan, real person. His name was Captain Henry Morgan.
I would figure by the person on it.
But it's a real person, like it's not.
Yeah, but I would.
He was a Welsh privateer, fought with England against the Spanish, was knighted by King Charles II, which we have the third on the throne right now. Was birthed in 1635, died a very, very rich man in Jamaica in 1688, probably making all that rum. I don't know why they chose him. I don't know if that's what it, but he's a real person. Do you know in the 11th century it was blasphemy and sacrilegious to use a fork? The thought that the gods would never prong something like that after it was made. So a fork was not allowed in a lot of countries in the 11th century. Not everywhere.
So would you use your hands?
The spoon.
The knife.
The spoon, knife. Did you know Cleopatra was not Egyptian? Her bloodline actually goes all the way back to Alexander the Great, and she wasn't even born in Egypt.
So why did they put her in Egypt? Did she do a lot of stuff?
No, she had Egyptian. What happened was it's the way the bloodline went, and then she landed up because her parents and but mostly because by the time it got to her, it had been washed down.
Oh.
If you catch my drift, and she wasn't born there. I love this one. This one shows you how doing things does affect you. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Pope Gregory IV declared war on cats. On the 13th century, he claimed that black cats and other cats was the devil. He had all...
Damn fucking straight.
He had all those cats exterminated.
Exterminate?
Killed. He killed every single cat. Ready for this? Plan backfires because the rats at that time start outnumbering them.
Yeah.
And overpopulating and spreading the Black Plague. They're the rats.
So that's why?
Because all the cats
that's a aha moment.
The aha moment! There you go. Mary had a little lamb.
So what was his name? Gregory?
Pope Gregory the IV.
Thanks, Greg, for the Black Plague.
Thanks, Greg. Greg IV.
Greg gave the plague.
Oh no!
Can that be our slogan?
Yeah, that's our slogan from now on. Welcome to
You took the low way.
I just posted that video and I still laugh. I posted it on the page and I was laughing. Mary had a little lamb. True story. Absolute. The whole nursery rhyme is true. She was so loved in the town that she used to raise money for the old church by selling the wool from the lamb. And it was 1860.
To piggyback, do you know what Ring Around the Rosie is for?
Yes. It's about the plague.
Yeah.
It's about people dying. And then they used to put flowers in your pocket so you wouldn't smell because you were sitting there.
Yeah.
And also,
we sing this to children. Yeah, they freak me out. Stuff.
You know those like those plague masks?
Yeah,
that's what they used to stick. Yeah. That's why the nose is so big. Because they used to put flowers in there. Boom! Don't
freaks me out.
No. Ketchup was originally sold as a medicine. In 1834, ketchup was a cure for
a tomato a day keeps the doctor away.
I think ketchup gives me indigestion, not cures it.
Wow, it works so well.
So they'd be like, "This is good medicine. Why are you eating so much?" Oh, my kid Marin would go through it like butter. Oh, God. Cowboys. Do you know most cowboys during the cowboys age didn't wear cowboy hats? They prefer wearing bowler hats. More people wore bowler hats because that was the high fashion at the time than cowboy hats. But they were considered cowboys.
I love my cowboy hat. Disney
is not frozen. He is cremated. It's a proven fact. I know people still think his head's frozen underneath because of all the funniness. I don't know if you were taught this. I was taught this. Wall Street during the crash of 29. You know I was not. Black Tuesday, as it's known. That's when it crashed. The Great Depression. Do you know they said that all these people had committed suicide and blah, blah, blah because of actually only two people actually committed suicide during that crash. So it's just a fable to make it sound 100 times worse than it really was.
America loves to do that.
This is something we should all know. My time's running out, so I'll quickly do this. U.S. President Zachary Taylor OD'd on cherries. He, during the 1850 celebration, he ended up eating so many cherries and milk that it actually killed him, and they think the mixture between the milk and the cherries caused it because he.
So cherry milk should not be a thing.
No, it is just only real cherries.
Cherry milk is a thing.
I know you can put little cherries in your milk. I know people put Pepsi in their milk.
My grandma used to make my great grandmother.
That was on Laverne.
So you know, what'd you say?
Laverne and Shirley, the TV show. Okay. She used to put Pepsi in Coke. Pepsi in milk.
You know how there's like chocolate syrup and strawberry syrup? Yep. Well, she thought that blueberry syrup was the same thing.
Yeah, why not?
And have you had blueberry milk before? Yeah. I wouldn't. Save yourself some time.
I know people used to put maple syrup in their milk.
Yeah. I don't like maple anything.
Yeah. Shannon's definitely allergic to it. Could kill her. I keep saying that because someday I'm going to be like, oh, you want some maple syrup? My last fact of the night that probably I see no one is watching like usual. Probably no one cares, but I found it really interesting. Do you know a Bloody Mary was not called Bloody Mary? It originally was known as a bucket of blood. Somehow it didn't take off very well and no one wanted to drink it. So they put it to the Red Snapper, which I think all the people chose not to drink that one. Or maybe a certain type of people just drink Red Snappers. And that's how it became Bloody Mary.
Was it served in the original Diva Cup? Was it around the same time that was coming out?
No, the rubber one. And that's all I have for my notes. I don't think anyone cares anymore. I enjoyed this live. I don't think anyone else did because I like stupid facts or stuff that makes me go aha moments, like the plague.
Greg and the plague.
Greg and the plague and all that stuff. I'd like to thank the Goofy Geek Boutique for being our sponsor. And I'm taking a sip of water. We are live on Thursdays on the Goofy Geek. As you can tell, nobody's here. Oh, we got 2 people. Thanks, Ashley. I appreciate you always watching.
Stop calling me nobody. Oh,
it
says, yeah.
She said, "Stop calling me nobody." I'm sorry.
I just said that.
I know. I just on my brain put 1-1.
Aha!
I had a aha moment. We are on YouTube on Tuesdays.
Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit that bell.
If you guys want to.
Yeah, you don't have to. We know you won't, so don't worry.
Won't. I don't even
know. No hard feelings.
No, we don't care. I'll give a shout out because I'm now doing my own thing. On Sundays, 10 o'clock at night, my time, Eastern Standard, and we are talking about the Game of Thrones, where it's a very dicey thing for me because I've never seen it, but I will have interesting facts about the writer and stuff like that. So hopefully we'll start a conversation on that. If you watch and you're part of it, my rule is you get to pick the next topic. That's how we got on Game of Thrones. And I'm almost done with Firefly. Anyone who cares.
Oh my god.
That is the end of it for us. We're out.
Bye.
And have a good one. Bye, guys.